it's amazing to come up with black musicians. But black musicians, man,
Oh man, yeah,
it's another level. I have nothing against hip hop and rap, but for me to be an OG and coming up in the music, when it became a culture, I just had a stomach ache because I saw our culture just get niggerish. I just see them just get niggerish. Yo, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Yo, nigga, you said damn. Yo, goddamn, nigga. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, nigga. Boom, damn. I mean, no,
yeah, yeah. No,
See, cause I'm into Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, Lou Rawls. See, I never got over that culture. See, I always wanted to have a funk band, but then when I got older, come to find out I had played out because another genre of music came, New Jack
yeah,
Swing,
this is true.
Teddy Riley. So I aspired, like I wanted to be like T Connection. I wanted to be Brass Construction, BT Express. I
Exactly.
wanted to be what I came up on. But by the time I got older, it had played out. The 45 and the 33 was over. So I was
They were gone.
so I was lost
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not hip hop. I see. I don't have to. I hate when people tell me, "Yo, man, you ain't real." Negro, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Who the hell you think you're talking to? I ain't real. Shut up.
No,
If I
no,
want
you.
if I want to play the Spice Girls, I'm gonna play the Spice Girls. That don't mean I ain't real, and I'm 100% pure beef man, heterosexual, uncut man. But I like all kind of music. But
Well, that's it.
don't tell me I ain't real. See, I hate that concept. I mean, even when you and I came up, we were listening to the Archies, Sugar Sugar.
Exactly.
There was nothing wrong with that.
Well, see, the thing, I think what the brother doesn't realize is if you take the definition of the word ignorant,
Mm.
that means you are ignoring some things.
Go ahead.
And for him to say that you're not real means that he is simply ignoring everything that you have been exposed to, but he
Mm.
hasn't.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
And that's what it boils down to. And I think most people who are told that can simply rationalize the fact that the person who is telling them that obviously is making an ignorant statement.
Very much so.
They think that because you are not flowing with the majority, then you are not real. But it's actually the opposite because you share a bit of experience that this other person who thinks they are real has not shared.
Mm. Mm. Now let me ask you about this. Now let's talk about slave.
Sure.
Um, 1977, brother. Can you give me your own personal slave experience?
I can give it to you easily. Here's what has happened, and I'll kind of start a little bit from how it happened. Now, we were talking about watching Midnight Special and all these shows that had live bands on there. I became interested in that, but at that time, which was for me 1975, I was not playing an instrument. Everybody starts out with the recorder or some clarinet or whatever in school, and either you stick with it or you don't. But I started watching these shows and particularly seeing the black bands, and I particularly drew myself to watching the guitarists, and I said, I want to pick up that instrument because not only do they look cool, but I'm sure they get all the women. So that's how
Right.
I started. That's one of the reasons I picked up guitar. But
Mm.
at the time, I lived in the neighborhood
Mm.
as there was a second generation of kids that lived there.
Mm.
We all very close to each other, next door the whole bit. Somehow along the way, me and the fellas in that neighborhood put together a band. We had not, we went the route of asking our parents to buy us individual instruments, and we started rehearsing. And my next door neighbor, he was the bass player, rehearsed it on his porch or in his house. They had a garage, but the garage was full of junk. My garage was open. It was a one-car garage. We used to rehearse in my garage. We used to rehearse in my house. And we just began to get better and better. By the time 77 rolled around, we were proficient enough to, write our own little stuff and begin to cover these songs. We had myself playing guitar. We had a bass player. We had a drummer. We had a conga player. We had two horns at that time, and we had a keyboardist. So it was sizable, but we were only like 14, 15 at the time. When we discovered Slave and they came to New Jersey, we didn't even know the whole story at the time.
Mm.
What we did know was that these brothers were only 2 or 3 years older than us,
Right.
and they had a record deal and a smash record. We were blown away
Mm.
by Slave.
Mm.
Then we found out that the Fearless Leader lived up the street and around the corner from us.
Go ahead.
So by the time he brought the fellas from Dayton to New Jersey, we would ride our bikes up to his house and just camp outside and hear these guys practicing and rehearsing. And to know that they were just a couple years older than us with all this notoriety and fame by this hit record, we tried to cover some of their songs like Slide and These Are the Happiest Days and things like that. And we just used to sit in the bass player's house with the debut album and just listen to Mr. Mark, and our mouths would drop open. That's kind of my Slave story. And because they were always up here, they were now in New Jersey with Jeff Dixon. They broke on WNJR. They were doing spots around the area. I went to see them at Martin Stadium in East Orange. We were just taken away by Slave. And because the big thing was, once again, to reiterate, these weren't some grown men other than, Carter Bradley and Bimmy. These dudes were just 2 or 3 years older than us. We could not believe the talent and the expertise they had. So we were pretty much just blown away by it, in awe. And when we found out, like I said, Steve Washington and I went through the same school system. We shared a number of the same elementary school teachers. So that's, not being from Dayton, that's my closest connection to Slave. And I just became a diehard fan of 15 ever since.
So when you first, now after Slide, they had the party song.
Correct.
Now, when Stella Funk came, can you talk to me about that, brother? And Just Freak?
Stella Funk came out in 1978. By that time, they had most of the same personnel. Tiny was still with them. Everybody was still with them, and they had brought on Ray Turner, who was the keyboardist. And by anybody who was a liner credit reader, and I am an avid liner credit reader, I started noticing that one local person that I did not know personally but knew of her family ended up joining, and that was the great Starlina Young. Not only her, but Steve Arrington was called by Mark Adams to come round out the rest of the album, because at that time, as Stevie likes to put it, Steve Arrington likes to put it, Mark called them because they were making a drum chair change, which means that Tiny was out. Tiny had recorded, Tim Dozier recorded every track on Stella, on the concept, except for Stella Funk, which was their landmark track.
But you know what amazes me with Steve Washington, the more I learn about this wonderful genius?
Mm-hmm.
This guy plays trumpet, plays many instruments, and he's already an awesome bass player.
Exactly.
But yet he let Mark Adams have it. Because when I heard him play bass on Are You Single, I jumped out the window. I couldn't take it. Because I'm always thinking the guy just played trumpet.
Right.
But then when he did the aura thing and did the bass, and I was like, what? I started stuttering. I started knocking over shit. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it was funny, man, because when Aura dropped, when Are You Single dropped, I didn't know the whole history about how that came out, other than the fact that when I saw the album, I said, oh, that's Stevie and that's Lockett.
Yeah, Thomas Lockett.
Yeah, Thomas Lockett, and that's Kurt. So they must have put together this, and you got to remember, this was Send Your Love with Are You Single. That was their second album. There are no pictures on the debut album, so you had to read the credits to understand what was going on with Aura's debut album.
But you know what gets me about this Aura thing? It's no matter what, it's like variations of Slave.
It was exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Or slave became so big
Yeah,
from a
with
touring
they
standpoint.
became big within slave.
Yeah, yeah. But what Steve did was he put together Aura to relieve the large amount of touring people, part of
Mm.
Slave, that were going on stage. So he started pulling Aura to relieve a lot of the touring issues that were going
But
on. And you know, he ended up getting, you know, long story short, he ended up getting Kurt and Starlina
but
to form Aura.
let me say this to you though, since you are a
Yeah.
Bible yourself. This is a Bible, and thank you for coming to the Funk Talk Lounge Theater, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Go ahead.
Man, for Slave to have two of the greatest funk rock vocalists in history. I'm sorry, three. For you to have Steve Arrington, Kurt Jones, and Starlina Young. Now I know Danny Webster's one thing, God bless that's an element, but I'm talking about these unique vocals because
Sure,
Steve
sure.
Arrington's accurate off key singing, his the way he sings, man, is like it's off key, but it's beautiful.
It is.
Kurt Jones is like a heavy metal funk rock blues artist.
Yeah, he's got that blues gruff. If you listen, you
Oh,
can recognize it. You can
yeah, I mean
recognize it.
he's a full fledged musician. And what I get mad about in black on the Black History tip, I'm tired of being the monkey, man. I'm tired of being the monkey because it seems like when you're the monkey, you get no respect. Because I think people look at us as the monkey because they don't look at us as the organ grinder. You know, and what I mean by that is that the black musician never gets his due. When I was talking to Brother Lamar Webster, this fantastic human being out of Dayton, Ohio, who's on the slave page, and that's
Right.
how we all met. What hurt my feelings, man, and I went home and cried. I cried like a Gerber baby. He said the Ohio Players is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show as well. And
Man,
they are not.
and
They are not.
that's when I said, see, and that's my point is that, you know, the reason why you're on this show, my brother. My point is this: how you and I are talking. This is what is important to us. We have memories. We're human. This
Exactly.
is our life, and it seems like other cultures really don't care about Black lives. I ain't talking about Black Lives Matter the way they talked about that shit in the last couple of years. I'm
Right.
talking about another kind of matter. I'm talking about our music and our culture before hip hop, before rap. That's all.
No,
See,
I agree.
yeah, but see, I love me some Snoop. I love me some Dre. I love Timbaland. I love Jermaine Dupri. I love Rodney Jake. Some of these producers hey, they all that in the bag of chips. But don't force me to love you when I don't have to. Don't tell me what I better do when it comes to my music. Don't tell me I
Right.
ain't real. I can like what I like. And what happened was somebody in some ivory towel in the office building decided what we like. Somebody took away our music. Somebody said, well, they don't like this, we'll take away this and give them that.
Right. Exactly.
And that's not fair because no one consulted me. Let me tell you something. I want me some Earth, Wind, and Fire and Barcades. I don't want MC Nigga Nuts.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, that's not for me. I mean, I want to go to the club. See, clubs are closed down. You can't even go. I like to go. You can't find a club now because people scared to lease to us now because they know it's going to be a fight or a shooting.
Yeah. Yep.
See?
Exactly.
So you pay for being niggerish. You pay for being niggerish. There's a
Yeah.
price to pay when you're niggerish. Cause
Exactly.
nobody wanna lease to you. Nobody want. I mean, back in the day, you can get a club anywhere. They said as long as you have a good time, we'll lease to you. It's never a problem. Now they got nigger awareness.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
You
Like I
know.
said, it was a whole
Oh,
different thing back then.
yes, yes. But like, okay, so then we talked about Stella Funk, and then here come Just a Touch of Love.
You know,
Now, this is when Mark Adams comes in with that bass when he slides in, and Steve Arrington, Slave went different levels, brother. They went levels.
they did go different levels. And you know what? There's people who have been listening to Slave long as we have. And I've seen this comment made, not a lot, but it makes perfect sense to me. And I sum it up to an evolution. But if you think about the first three LPs. Hardness of the World second, Slide first, and then Stellar Funk. They were they were in the same class, so to speak, because somebody had coined a term for Slaves music on those first three albums, and they called it something to the effect of garage funk or whatever, but it was raw. It was more raw. By the time Just a Touch of Love came around, it was almost sort of akin to 78 into 79 for Kool and the Gang, in a sense, because Just a Touch of Love, you started to get Slave outside of Mark Adams' rough and rugged, which was still there. They started to smooth out a little bit more, which was obviously to their benefit. But yeah. You had Steve Arrington at that point. You had Kurt Jones. You had Starlina. They were the definitive voices, and Danny Webster. But Just a Touch of Love, they started to take I forget the word you used, but I like the word you used a little while ago. They started to get on another level, is what you said. You're absolutely right.
And then after that, then they come with Stone Jam.
Stone Jam.
Let me tell you something. When I heard Stone Jam, I said, "What are these?" Okay, that was an out of body, funky theatrical experience.
There's no question. No question.
Never Let You Get Away, Starting All Over, Feel My Love.
Yeah,
absolutely. They had like unique funk, pop, rock jams on there. Never Let You Get Away, Sizzling Hot. They had the nerve to have every song on there. Was Watching You on there?
Watching You was on there. That was Stone Jam.
Yeah, exactly. See, I forgot about that song. They had so many good songs on that doggone. I forgot about Watching You.
That's right.
Because I still be having Stone Jam moments. Man, Stone Jam and Never Let You Get Away. Man, whenever I hear Kurt Jones sing Never Let You Get Away, I have an out of body experience to this day. And it's 2024. And then when Kurt and Starlina did Are You Ready for Love? On the Just a Touch of Love.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And that rock, dan, and the background vocals and everything. Black musicians, we don't get credit. The only one that stayed consistent, who was the actual 45, the actual album, because of his gift, was Prince. Prince was able to keep it consistent through it all. Because that Sign of the Times album was totally like 1968, 1970 Sly Stone kind of stuff he was doing.
There's no question. But, Rex, my thing is, and I've seen it happen, and I stick by this. Just not to belabor on Prince, but I want to use him for a specific example. And you mentioned Sign of the Times in 1999 and all the stuff up to that. In 2010, I forget the name of the album. I can see the cover in front of me. He took a break for 4 years, didn't put out anything. Now, we're talking about Prince. We're talking about Prince and the Revolution. We're talking about Purple Rain. We're talking about the icon that is Prince at that time. He comes back and he drops a double release. He drops Artificial Age and he drops Plectrum Electric, I think. I might be messing that name up, on the same day. But by the time 2014 rolled around, we're talking about Prince. You would have think that both those releases would have burned the airwaves down, and neither of them did. And the reason I bring that up is because of the evolution of the industry, and technology came in that helped propel rap music because live instruments weren't needed. I'm not saying anything. I'm not getting off on a story about rap music and hip hop music and what it doesn't have, but it became to the point where technology advanced to the point where the record companies found out they didn't have to pay live bands.
That's right.
They didn't have to pay a 9-piece or 10-piece Slave.
Right.
They didn't have to pay a 9-piece Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Preach.
So they save massive money. But what happened with that is the art of live music and the culture in urban music began to dilapidate.
Yes,
It began to get
sir. Go
weakened,
ahead,
and that's
please,
what happened.
please.
That's what happened.
And it's
So
sad.
people, so around that time, what you and I were always seeing on the Soul Trains and American Bandstands and this and that, kids at that time who were embracing the technology, what they didn't see was that. So they don't have the feelings and the emotions tied to that. They didn't see it. What they did see, again, to be real, what they did see is DJs scratching two turntables and said, I want to do that. It's almost in the same way that I saw a black band and his guitarist getting off. I want to do that because I saw that day after day after day. When they killed the bands in urban contemporary music, notice it never happened in rock.
Oh no, that's what I said about us being the monkey.
Yep, it never happened in rock.
They always mess with us because white people still have a choice. Okay, they can have an acoustic guitar, they can have a drummer, a conga player, a flute. Somebody can come out and make a violin album, and they can, but let us do it. It doesn't mean anything.
And I'm like, let me just take the Stones for example. These dudes,
these got 95 years old, got a new album out.
Okay, I don't even need to say anymore because you just took the words
out. Ron Wood coming out with a cane.
They are packing Coliseums.
And they're packing the Coliseum.
They're packing Coliseums, man. They're packing Coliseums. Lakeside, all due respect, they'd be lucky if they can get on Tom Joyner's cruise.
Lucky.
Man.
The word is lucky. Okay, let's keep.
Why are we not doing that?
Well, brother, because of the brainwashing and because of the genocide, because we've been asleep at the wheel. I tell you, black people are test lab experiments. See, keep in mind, we were bought here as slaves. We were a joke. We're a joke. Okay? See, I can sleep at night because I know what time it is without the watch. The difference is as humans, we're slowly becoming awake. Now, see, white people are getting their wake-up call now. See, white people are the new niggas now because of that fentanyl. They on that shit. Okay? So now they getting a wake-up call. What is that? They getting that nigga feeling. Okay? So the human race is in a mess right now. So that's my point is that, see, I tell my white brothers, I say, all of us white and blacks, we have been fighting each other so long. Meanwhile, other cultures are coming here and we've been replaced. We've been replaced. That's what I'm saying. The reason why I bring that up is because you got to save what's yours because they're taking everything from us. So you got to save your music. Music is church. Music is therapy. Music is food. I see what happened to our black youth because of music. When I go to Atlanta, I see the outcome of bad music. I see the outcome when I go to places and see our youth, man, they sagging, they angry, busting car windows for no reason, shooting people for no reason. And I best believe when people that shoot people for no reason, they listen to a bad 808 track with a bottom to it. They listen to some bad. They get fueled by the music is the sound. The music is the soundtrack for their destruction.
But it's interesting, and I have to go back to that. See, the foundation of everything is music. When we were coming up and seeing all that we've been talking about up to this point, music is no less influential now than it was then. The problem is the influence of it.
Right.
And the contents and the lack of substance is what now is influencing.
And
back then it was a whole different story.
And let me make sure I stay on track because I don't want to get off. See, you and I tell you, this is our first time talking, and there's so much to talk about, and we're gonna do chapters with you because we're gonna have to wind down now. But dig this, I want to say this too. We were talking about Slave, then after Stone Jam came Showtime.
Right.
And then after Showtime, what happened?
Well, we know that Steve Arrington left because he wanted to pursue other musical avenues.
Okay, now hold on. Here we go. Steve Arrington. Now, okay, we're going to do part 2 with you, Doug. So we're going to have to do part 2.
All right, not a problem.
Yeah, man, because I knew this was going to happen. I knew when you and I start talking, that's going to be it. Let me tell you, man, for Steve Arrington is a funk genius. That Steve Arrington's Hall of Fame and that doggone Hump to the Bump,
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know where in the hell he got that from. I never forget. This is a true story, brother. I don't know how do you come up with hump. One time I was driving. I was driving in Georgia. I was driving, and I heard that song. I almost crashed because it was so funky.
Yes, sir.
Doo-dum, doo-dum, doom, I was like, what? I'm like, what's he doing? But it was funky.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
and then he had the nerve and the audacity to come with weak in the knees and you meet my approval.
Oh my
Man,
goodness. That Hall of Fame #1, that first album
man,
is
man,
fire.
man. Steve Arrington is one of the greatest underrated human beings on this planet. Kurt Jones, Starlina Young, the whole slave unit, man.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, man, this is slave awareness. This is slave awareness, man. Doug, I really appreciate you so much for coming on this show.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
And
For real. I'm glad.
man, bro, and you're gonna be on another one we're doing. You know, you're gonna be a regular because I'm gonna say this before I get out of here. I don't want this talk just to be talk. I want to do live events. So
Yes.
people, when you hear my voice, you can look me up on Comedy Hype. Look me up in case you want to know who the hell I am. Go to Comedy Hype. I got a little history in comedy too, so I don't really talk about that because my purpose was never to be a comedian. I never wanted to be a comedian. I was just passing through, you know. And so, but Jamie Foxx, Steve Harvey, Chris Tucker, Dave Chappelle, Jeff Foxworthy, all the comedians know who Rex A. Garvin is. The late great, fantastic Bernie Mac, Ricky
Wow.
Harris. Everybody know who Rex is. Everybody
I
know.
need to get that. Then I need to get your autograph, brother. I didn't know you rolling like that.
But hey man, well what happened to make a long story short, I used to be the house MC at the Comedy Act Theater in Atlanta back in 1990. You remember Robin Harris?
I do.
Well, Robin Harris was the West Coast comedian, and I was the one in Atlanta. See, what happened was before black comedy got real popular, I was doing like Bill Bellamy, Bob Sumner in Jersey, Willie Asbury. We were doing it when it wasn't popular. I mean, no, when I'm sorry, when it was becoming popular, like doing
Right.
Robert Townsend's Partners in Crime and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
I started doing comedy in 1981. Me, Bill Nunn, who played Radio Raheem,
Yeah.
RuPaul the drag queen dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I was part. Yeah, we all started out together. Samuel L. Jackson before he got real popular. I have a little history about me. I don't really talk about it, but there's a reason
I
why.
got it.
But there's a reason why I'm the way that I am. You know, there's a reason. But y'all can check me out on Comedy Hype. Just put in my name, Rex A. Garvin, REXX. Garvin, D.L. Hughley, Cedric Entertainer. They know who. Matter of fact, I'm the reason why Cedric and Steve Harvey are friends. I'm the reason. I'm the reason why they got together. Steve Harvey talks about me. There's on Family Feud. It's called. If you all go to Rolling with Steve Harvey, how Steve Harvey met Cedric. Steve talks about this comedian bombing because it was me. I had a bad show. Steve came on. Steve came on before me. Did like an hour and a half. He took all the laughs. So when I came on, you know, and I was really good looking back then, so I just survived on my looks.
You had me rolling over.
I was kind of cute back then, so the women liked me because I used to get over doing dumb shit. But it didn't work in Texas that night.
Oh man.
so, so this is like, so Cedric happened to be in town, and Cedric killed, man, and that's how him and Cedric got together. So that's me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
but Steve
Okay.
Harvey mentions me. He said Rex Garvin, but me and Steve was so tight, man. I love Steve regardless, whatever. Steve, I did suck that night, so I can't get mad. But I love Steve so much. But yeah, man. But yeah, so that's who I am, Rex A. Garvin. But yeah, but I want to do live events. I want to get grown people together. I want to get my crowd, the Doug, Lamar. So I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be moving south this year. I'm going to be moving to Georgia. I said I would.
Okay.
I said I would never move to Georgia, but man, I got to help my black youth out. So I can't. I can't talk.
Yes, sir.
I can't talk about it. I got to be about it. Because when
I
these
hear you.
yeah, cause when these young brothers meet me, they respect me, man. These little gang members when I get around them, they like me for some reason. So that's why I talk that stuff, but I'm there for them because I get it. I understand the madness. I understand why they're the way they are, and if they want to listen, cool. If they don't, I don't talk to them.
There you go.
But the ones that want some, they can come get some. If they don't want none, they can they can have a nice day. So
Exactly.
that's just how I roll. But yeah, man. But Doug, man, thank you so much for coming to Funk Talk Theater. We're gonna talk more about Slave. We're gonna talk more about Kool and the Gang, Von Mason, the Rim Shots, the Moments, Harry Ray, Billy
Oh man.
Brown. We're gonna talk
Yes, sir.
Al Goodman. We're gonna talk about the whole Sylvia Robinson, Sting Records. Man, we're going to get deep into Jersey, man, because Doug is a Bible. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into my show. And check out my Cash App. You're going to see it on screen here. $ Funk Lounge 16. That's right. I take donations because we're going to get this thing going because we're going to do live shows. We're going to pay our artists. And we're going to reclaim our culture, grown people. Grown folks culture. We're going to get our culture back on how, because life is deep now. Certain things they're taking away from us, but don't let them take away your party. Don't let them take away your good time. Doug, you have been a pure delight. Thank you for coming to the Funk Lounge Talk Theater, and we'll see you soon, my friend.
Take care, my brother. Be good.
Back at you. Blessings to you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Peace. Everybody, thank you so much for coming. Brian, thank you so much. My engineer, man. Mousetrap Recording Studio, thank you so much. And everybody else, leave your comments. If you like what you hear, we're going to do more of these shows. We're going to have Jimmy Castor's daughter coming on. April Castor, Jimmy Castor, Birth Above Boogie, Potential Space Age. We're going to have her coming on. And I want to thank Mr. Lamar Webster. He was my first guest. Lamar, you are a Bible from Dayton, Ohio. Thank you so much. The fantastic, wonderful Doug Ramsey, who was just on. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is the True to Form Funk Prophet, the Funk Jam artist, if you will. The Rex coming at your full power and exact with the James Brown payback. Y'all be cool. Peace.